What's up everyone, David here with Suncel, the CMS for Next.js with a super simple visual editor. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a block with repeatable elements inside. As an example, we will build a partners section where you can add multiple partners logo. Let's start. So in order to start, we will use the Suncel CLI in order to create very quickly an application. So in the Suncel documentation, you have here the line of code you have to copy in your visual editor. So let's go. Do you have a Suncel account? Yes, I do. What is your project name? It's Repeatable Element. I want to use Tailwind CSS, and the installation is running. So now I will go to my project inside Suncel app, and in API you will find two keys that you have to input in. You don't have a file. Let's go. So this is the first key, and the second key is here. Perfect. So now you can make, well, let's see where we are. Okay, so the app is running, and now we can go to our localhost /admin, and you will be on your admin panel. So the thing you have to know is that this admin panel, unlike a lot of headless CMS, this admin panel is on your website. So you won't find it in the Suncel app, but this localhost is in fact your website. Okay, so even if you create a new app, or if you plug it to your existing Next.js app, you can access this admin panel on your website. And if you want to define another URL, so if you want it to be different of admin /admin, you can define the URL you want, and you can as well customize your dashboard here with other sections and other links. Well, let's create a new page. We will call it example. Good. And now in this page we have nothing, and we would like to have here a new block, which is our partners section. And in this section we would be able to add 1, 2, 3, 4 partners just by one click. So let's go. So here we will create a new component in blocks, and let's say that we want a new, let's say here we want partners. Yes, partners. Good. First, we are going to create our component. So let's call it partners block, and this component will have the type Suncel block. Okay, and we want for now to return nothing, just an empty tag. Okay, good. We have to import Suncel block. And now we have to think about what will be inside our component. So, in fact, we will have another list with pictures, and on each picture we will have a link on it. And so we will have to create a new type. Let's call it partners blocks props. And in this type definition, we will create, so let's call it partner with So this will be an array, okay? And inside this object, we will have an image. Let's call it image partner, and this type will be image type. We want as well a link with the link type, and we have as well to define a key, and we will discuss that later. Okay, and since I want as well in my background a background color with a gradient, so I want to change the colors inside the visual builder, so I have to define colors here. So let's say we call color left, so it will be a gradient left to right or right to left. So I have to define the colors here. It will be a string, and color right, it will be a string as well. Good. So I now have my image type. Perfect. Okay, so I will put everything in the props here. In order to be able to use it in the component here. Okay, so what I have to do as well is to create a schema. When you create a Suncel block, you have to define a schema as well. And inside this schema, you will have a slug. You will have a display name. So display name, it will be the name that will be displayed in the component library in the visual editor. You can define as well default props in your components, and you can define what you want to see and edit in the right side panel. So let's go. So we define this schema with a slug and a display name. So let's do just that for now. So the slug has to be unique. It can have a different name. Well, it can be different of partner blocks, but it has to be unique among all your components. Good. Well, let's start with the simplest part, and we would like to be able to change the background's color. Okay, so first I will say that it's a div here. I will give it a class name with, let's say, some padding. And just before to start, I want to add this block to our menu blocks. So let's say here we want another category, and this category will be partners, and so here we will have partners block, and the name will be partners block. Okay, partners block is here. Good. So now if we go back here, we should be able to see a new category, partners, and our block. And so for now there is nothing in it. So let's say we want to create first the background color, and so let's start. Okay, so let's give it a full width, and MX auto, and let's say that we want to center the text. Good. So now we want to give this div style with background, and this will be linear gradient with, and here we will have so the color in the left and the color in the right, and so we have to give the two variables here, two props, and the second one. Okay. The thing is that we cannot edit it right now. So in order to be able to edit those two colors, we have to add them to the Suncel schema here. Let's go. So settings is an array. Oops, sorry, an array. And inside this array, you can order multiple things, and you can as well create groups. And create a group is very convenient if you want to regroup, for example, those two colors. So let's say that we want to create a group. Name will be background colors. Okay. And inside we will have the fields inside this group, which is, sorry, an array. And here, so you will have type. So the first is type color. His slug is color left. The name is color left, and that's it. And so here I will duplicate everything. This will be color right. Okay, good. So now what we can do as well is to add a default value for both colors. And so we can add it in default props here. And let's say that we want color left and color right. And we want values here to be this value and this value. Good. So now if we check our visual editor, we will see, we will refresh. Good. And now here we have a group. I will zoom in a little bit. And in this group, you can see that you can change the color. Perfect. So there is a problem, and we are going to check why this is not changing. Okay. Here's the typo here. Perfect. Good. Well, maybe light gray is better. Things like this. Okay, good. So now what we want to do is to add an unordered list, and we want to map on each item with a picture and with a link on this picture. And we want this picture to be a repeatable element. So we need to add a map here on the items. We need to add as well default props to add a default value for the first picture that we want to display on the component. And after that, we need to add something to be able to add new element with the right side panel. And then be able to change the picture for different partners. Okay, so let's go. So the first thing here is to start to map on the LI elements. Okay, so here you see that we have a problem with the missing key. And so the thing is that you have to take care not to use this ID here Why? Because if you use it, when you will change the order of the elements, so let's say that you want to switch one partner by one other, and in order to change the display of those partners, in fact you will change the value in the array, but you won't change the key. And since you won't change the key, you won't have any change in what you see in the browser. So in fact we created this key, and so you can have a look to the documentation, to the Suncel documentation. In fact, it generates a unique key in order to avoid these display problems. Okay, so once we did that, we will add as well a link component, an image component. So here we will give him all the properties. So we need to import it. We need to import as well the image component. So let's go to the documentation. Good. So here we will actually add a slug. So this slug will be section partners. With image partners. Okay, so we have to give it as an alt as well. And so the alt, it will be okay, partner logo, and I want to give it a width and an 8 as well. Okay, and now I will give all the missing properties. So this is basically the source of the image. And we should be good. So we have no style, but we will add later. Okay, so now the problem is that if I reload my component, I will see nothing actually, because there is no default value. So I need to add that here, and I want to be able as well to add new pictures. So I need to do that here. So first I will add here default props. And in here, I need to add my section partners default value. So remember, this is an array. And inside I have image partner, which is an image. I have link and I have key. Okay, so for the key, you can give a random number, no matter what it is. For the image, you have to define an src. You have to define as well a height, a width, and you have to define alt. Okay. So now we have our default value for the first element. Okay, wonderful. So we have our first element. Now we want to be able to add new element in the right side panel here. Oh, we have nothing right now, but we want to be able to add new logos. So in here, I have to add a new element which has the type repeatable. The slug section partner, the name partner. We can define as well plural name if there is like 2, 3, 4 items partners. We can define as well the maximum element. So if we want to have, let's say, 8 or 12 elements maximum, we can define it here. And then we have our fields. So inside we have to define basically the same thing that we define here. So here we will have 3 things. We will have our type image, slug. Our slug is image partner. The name is partner image. Then we will add here type link, slug link, name link, and we need to add a new type which is key. The slug will be key, and actually we don't really care about displaying it in the right side panel. So display in settings false, and it won't display in the right side panel. Okay, so but the thing is, so here I will be able to add new elements, but I want as well for the second or the third element, I want a default value. So I will add it here. So here is just for the first value. You will have this logo, but for repeatable elements, you will also need to add the default values here. And so you need src, you need alt. Actually, you can take the same thing here. Perfect. Okay, so let's test our component. Great. Let's add a new one. 3, 4, 5. So you can add up to 12. Let's change the second one with, let's say, this logo. Wonderful. Great. So now we have to change the style in order to have something that looks good. And let's go back to the code. So let's say that we want to give some style to this element. So we want a flex wrap on it. Justify center. Okay, that looks better. We want no padding, no horizontal padding. MX Auto, a bit of okay, and so now let's say that will be this display on mobile. We'll have a vertical display, but on large screen we want a different display. So now let's add some style to the list, and let's say that we want a full width, but when we are full width in small screen, and when we are in we are not in small screen, we want this width for each element. Okay, so we want to be able to put like 4 logos on the same line, and we add some padding. Good. Now let's add some style to the picture, and let's say that it's object contain with full width and full height. We give it some style as well with auto and 8 auto. So now we can add a class name here with flex item center, justify center. We can add some horizontal padding and vertical padding a bit different. We can add an overflow hidden in order to prevent overflow from the card. We can add a BG white. We can add a rounded corner with a shadow. And we can define as well the height of the logo in order for them to have the same size. Let's say 180 pixel. Well, so here you can change if you want the logos with whatever you want. You can save it. You can check in mobile. So maybe you could adjust a little bit how you display it in order for them to have the good size. Okay, so if you are expecting a special format for your picture, in fact, you can inform the content editor that you are expecting this format. And in order to do so, you can add a prop here, which is isAdmin. And then you can use it, for example, let's say here. And it will only display this information if the user is in the visual editor. If it's inside, if it's looking at the page like a normal visitor, it won't see this information. So let's say that we want to display this information. And now we go in the page and you can see that you have this information here. Okay. Good. And so if you save it and if you see here the preview, this disappears, so you won't have it anymore. I hope you really enjoyed this video about repeatable elements inside a block. Feel free to create your own project and your own blocks with repeatable elements, and see you in another tutorial video. Bye bye.